Hello, and welcome back to the Atelier Nekozuki stream. My name is Katie. Apparently, I lost my voice in between this afternoon's stream and right now. Man, every time I go on my channel, I'm like, I need to update that cover photo. That was 2 pairs of glasses ago. That cat is no longer even alive. And that was also like 2 studio spaces ago too, so might be time for an update. Anyway, we are back to get these big bags done, as well as the Kato bag that is on order. Realistically, the only things that need to happen for the big bag is I need to sew it, as in like, I just need to sew the side seams and the boxes. We'll turn it and it will be done. There's not much left. And then the Kato is not that much left either. We just have to swap the thread color basically. And then if all goes well and the kiddos haven't woken up, and we're working until about 10:30 tonight, we will start on notions pouches, I think, or something else in this bin. Oh yeah, I was gonna do drawstring bags. We might do notions pouches so I don't have to keep my thinking brain on quite as much. Notions pouches would just be, I just need to match zippers and we could just sew them, and that right now would be kind of nice without having to think too much, just because I've done them so much in the past. Alright, so now with this we do need to actually pin it again because we want the zipper to be sewn in a specific way. Turn this and do this. I did not go to the gym and I did not do my run today. I went upstairs and actually made our dinner, which worked out really well. We had fish and chips and air fried carrots, which were actually delicious. So I think that was a good decision all around, or overall, based on the children's reaction to it as well, of like, oh yeah, we want that. They're both very hungry. My youngest, actually, they said that they ran out of food at school for them, so gotta pack them more food. It's so hard to tell though, because some days it's like they eat nothing, and then other days they're just like, I am going to eat everything in sight and be a black hole. Just like, give me all the food. And it's so hard to tell what kind of day they're gonna have when they go to school because of that. So usually there's like more emergency snacks in their like bag, but apparently I forgot to pack enough. Oh well, they survived. They obviously weren't suffering too much because they didn't come home and just like devour everything in sight, so I don't know what to tell you. Kids are like cats. Very, very, very weird. Oh yeah, we need to pop the zip pull on this one, and we need to trim down the thread on this side. There we go. Alright, the zip pull is living right here. Now I gotta remember the way to finagle this on, especially when it's a big bag compared to like the box bags. I think if I do it this way, yeah, there we go. Alright, well that was smoother than anticipated. All these threads need to be trimmed down here so they're out of the way of the pole. Trim that off. Trim these down as well. So right now we're wrapping up on the big bags that were pick your own orders. And we're going to trim down the rest of the box bags as well. And I'll need to do shipping labels tomorrow. There. There we go. for this. I have enough time tonight and the kids are not awake. We're going to move on to notions pouches. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I don't have to think much. We'll get the drawstring bags done over the next few days. Good, okay, we'll clip that because that's where that needs to be. There we go, and then we'll move this over here. This here. And yes, even though I will be cutting those corners off, I still typically go all the way to the end, mostly because I forget, and just so I don't have to like go back and redo a line of stitching because I forgot to like, you know, set it up. All right, I'm gonna pop this back up here so I don't lose it, and then we're gonna put the thread in here. Okay, so now is that the new thread as well? Yes. And then we're going to pop this one on here, and we need to wind a black bobbin of thread. Take that massive baby off. This is like a nearly full thread of like 5,000 meters. Like, look at how much bigger that the white spool is. Like, we just started the white spool. It's ridiculous just how much more thread there is on there. They also sit on my machine in a much chunkier, intimidating fashion as well. No, come here. Why would you get tangled? Okay. Call my mother-in-law. Okay, actually I do need to go off and do that. I will. Oh, is it too late? No, I think I'm okay. Okay, BRB. Alright, now I just gotta get the camera back on. Close. Hello, hello. I don't know why I did that. We're gonna go back to BRB. Transition. Then we're gonna go back to ASMR, and I will just like clip this in. We're not actually doing ASMR, but that's what I call that scene for convenience sake. Okay, why are you still vertical? That should be vertical and that should be horizontal. Thank you. All right, no, it's like 9:30 here and I'm like, oh, criminy. My youngest has gymnastics tomorrow, so I had to make sure that my eldest had care while I take the youngest to gymnastics, and I'd forgotten that I needed to still chat with my mother-in-law about that. There's only like 2 more weeks of it. Ugh. Although after that, I would like to start going back to spin on Thursdays, so there might be more of it than that. She's like, what time? And I'm like, oh man, I don't even remember. It's not like we haven't done this for the past like 2.5 months. But they both go to like different class days as well, so it's like, so my eldest is in a Saturday class and my youngest is in the Thursday class, and they're both at different times. Next year it's going to be so much better when they're like in parented classes, or like one can be in unparented and one can be in parented, and it's just like, yes. So then I can just book them on the same day. We can all go and I don't have to worry about like who, what, where, when. We're just there for gymnastics at the same time for them both. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Alright, I'm going to sew this side of this big bag, and then we're going to trim all the box edges, and we're going to make the boxes. And then we're going to go off and we're going to do the Kato bag. And I'm pretty confident that we can move on and actually sew some notions pouches tonight. Looking at how this has all come together, and like I said, I'll do the shipping tomorrow, which is fine because we have to do gymnastics and then we have a doctor's appointment, because when do we not have a doctor's appointment? It feels like either. It's not walk-in, it's a scheduled appointment. Alright, sweet. And we're going to bring this up here. So I realized today, so of course the traditional monetization mark for YouTube has always been 1,000, but they introduced some extra tiers at the 500 mark, and I'm inching ever so close to that one. I am super excited to see that. So hopefully we hit that here in the next couple months. Obviously actually monetizing with ads would be the super goal sort of thing, but this first like step at 500 subscribers, you're able to like add your shop and stuff like that, and that would be amazing because, you know, linking directly to my stuff, especially on preview videos, would be super helpful. Shock and surprise, that would be amazing. So fingers crossed I get there. I need to start posting more shorts though, because like it does require a certain number of watch hours every month. And shorts are definitely the way to go for me. So, and then hopefully I will get my ducks in a row and actually start being able to post some more regular, like, edited content, basically. But honestly, the live streams are working for me extremely well. So I'm not going to complain. Like, no complaints about it at all, to be honest. Puff. Alright, we're just about there for the boxing. It's amazing what happens when you only have to do like two bags worth of boxing. I've definitely come out of these cutting sessions with like wear marks on my fingers and like sore hands. Mostly the wear marks on my hands though are like the dents from the scissors. It hurts a lot some days. Alright, 1 bag ready to be boxed. And then we'll get 2 bags ready to be boxed. Sweet. And I trimmed down the zipper, I think. Okay, and then I need 2 care labels for cotton. Oh right, the last round of big bags actually sewed the care tags into the side seams, and that made a lot of sense. But, oh well. I didn't remember that this time. Next time. There will be a next time very rapidly, hopefully. Trim, trim, that was the wrong thing to put into the pile, not the template. Oh yeah, and I gotta trim down the zipper. Okay, trimmed, garbage. Now we'll go in and we will sew all, oh no, we'll go and cut tags and then we'll sew all the things. Zoom. Realized I bought that full bottle of new adhesive and now I don't know where the bottle of adhesive is. Oh, it's right above my head on the other side. So important stuff is above my head up here. I've got like a SCADIS on the book on the shelf right above the laptop essentially, but there's also a shelf behind me and apparently important stuff is up there as well. I should not have important stuff up there, but I know why it's up there is because as soon as I brought it home, the younger toddler got it. Bah. And then that and the acetone that I got to clean up, like the glue and the solvent, and I'm just like, no. You shouldn't have either of those. Those are probably some of the most toxic things in this room. Chemically, at least. Oh, anyway, so yeah, that's why it's up on the shelf, is because it's really out of reach up there. Everything's better when it's out of reach. All right, let's open up this zip right here, and then we're going to sew the box bag edge. The boxing, not box bag, this is a tote bag, the big bag, and then we're actually first going to tack this seam down again because it is splitting and that's no good. There we go. And then we're going to go in and we're going to actually sew it together. Go. Then we're going to trim it down a bit because apparently that was a hot mess cut. All right, hopefully the rest of them aren't like that. Into the pile with you. And then this side. And we will switch to the white thread before we do. Actually, we're going to switch to the white thread before we do either of those seams because we got to do it like right away anyway. We'll finish up this bag's exterior seams and then we'll swap to white. We need to also wind this bobbin. But that way, there's no white thread being seen on the black, and there's no black thread on the interior box seams. Obviously, there is down the sides of the bag, but that can't be avoided. Well, could have if I had changed thread, but it'll be fine. It is fine. Alright, so now I've got to sew this one down like this. Right here. And flippy flip and go. Just like that. I'm going to trim that one down a little bit as well, just because it's a little bit of a thick seam allowance. And then we'll change the thread again. And we're actually going to swap the needle thread to this thicker thread as well, and then we'll use the rest of the Gutermann on the domestic machine. Like there's like something on top of that thread, but I don't know how it would have gotten there because it's been like stored away. Okay, so here's the big boy of thread. Time to put them on. Oh, chunky. Just have like so much more presence on the spool holder too. Like, holy! Can you actually? No, you can't see it. I'll turn the. Like, now the Gutermann looks like, I'm just a baby. Oh. All right. Time to trim down that end. Will that get caught in my like chair tire? 99% possibility that it will. Zoom. Okay. So I didn't go to the gym at all earlier. I went upstairs and I actually cooked our dinner, which I think was probably a more solid decision as it is. I'll go for my run tomorrow. And then I'll go to the gym on Friday for weights, and I also will have my long run on Friday, which will have to be inside still because I don't think it's supposed to be warm tomorrow, but I doubt that the snow is going to be going that fast. And it's going to also be that lovely layer of like freeze thaw underneath again. Just fantastic. Yeah, no. Alright, now these are the white thread. Oh goodness. Okay, well, we'll definitely get the pick your own orders done and then we'll see where we're at. Yeah, another 20 minutes till 10, 20 to 10. So I have a feeling I'll work until about that 10:30 mark, as long as the kiddos don't wake up before that. And then I'll head out. So we'll get done whatever we can get done on the kato before that point, basically. Obviously, the big bags are like basically finished. We got 2 more seams. A seam, a turn, and a seam. And then we're good. think with a little bit thicker seam, I do actually need to let off the bobbin tension a little bit, it feels like. I think that'll just, or maybe actually the presser foot tension just a tick. Or, yeah, not even the presser foot. No, not the presser foot. The actual thread tension. Just a millimeter, not much. Just enough to be like, hey, you can chill out a little bit. Okay, having these off the plate is going to be amazing. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely the bobbin that needs a little bit TLC. It shouldn't be gathering like that. Alright, are you okay, or do we need to, no, we're gonna need to seam rip you. Okay. Or at least trim that and then go back in and stitch it again. The bobbin thread is laying really, really nice, but it does look like it is a little bit too much for the top thread tension. So there's a little screw on the side here. Now, do I have the screwdriver to fix it with here, or do I have to like, I think I can do it with my finger now. Nope, maybe not. If my fingernails are strong enough. There, that was a little bit of a loosen. Don't want to mess around with the settings too much, because it's like you go from okay to way too loose, way too rapidly. Right. And it is pulling through here funky. What is going on here? Even with it open. Okay. Okay, it's pulling off of the actual spool. Weird. I wonder if it's too much thread for the machine, although you'd think that it wouldn't be. Okay, let's loosen this off. Because I think something might be up there. Okay. Yeah, it's like really hesitating to go through that tension wheel. Alright, what's up here? What's up, party animal? Nothing. Nothing's up. Okay, now that's like really loosened off. We're okay, I think. Interesting. It's like really loose compared to the Gutermann thread. Okay, well, we'll try that. Maybe we'll sacrifice some of the pile to experimentation. Because that is like nearly loosened all the way off. Doesn't seem quite right. Okay. Don't think I've actually had to touch the tension dial on this thing since I like set up the first time. Mostly because I use the same I've used the same thread brand, obviously. So, okay, the one thing I will say about this thread, it is not as smooth as the Gutermann. The Gutermann is much like, this has a little bit of a halo to it. In most cases, especially the interior seams, that does not matter. For the top stitching, that might become a concern, but we'll see how it does over the next few here. Let's try it out with some of the pile. Good, like damn near perfect. Actually, yeah, I think that might actually be a better sew than it was with the Gutermann. All right, so there we go. All right, so I snipped the tight stitches, and I'm going to snip this tight stitch on this side, and then we're going to just go over this again. I should just grab a seam ripper from up here. Just let that out here. There. And we're just going to go back over this, and hopefully it doesn't gather it again. Be nice if it didn't get gathered again. Yeah, no, we're good. Sweet. That is like, yeah, definitely one of the smoothest sews I've ever had. Interesting. So a little bit woolier, a little bit more of a halo, but maybe a nicer thread for this machine overall. We'll see. Like I said, the big test for this will be how it looks in top stitching, because it is a bit thicker. And if it's got a halo, that might not be very nice for top stitching. It's interesting that it has a halo. It's supposed to be polyester. So it must be like, I don't know, shorter staple length polyester, which is really weird. But, I don't know. Because I don't remember getting recycled polyester either. Maybe I did. Like, who knows? I don't know. Oh, yeah, the Gutermann also has, like, a halo. It's just not as noticeable. The, like, halo on this is a little bit, like, larger, I guess. Yeah, well. Alright, so there is the big bag with the black cats and the wisteria. So now we just gotta do the last turning seam here. Just realize you can't really see much. Let's go back up to like the dual camera. One moment, I'm gonna swap the video. That is the microphone. What? Yeah, allow. It's like dual wide. No. That's showing you like nothing. What the heck? And the back triple doesn't do anything either. So let's go to ultra wide. Ugh. No, no. Sorry. There we go. One more switch. Oy, 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 oy. Okay. Anyway, here's the bag. It looks really small there. It is not that small. What the heck? Okay. The illusion of that, like, triple wide camera. Right. Okay, so we're gonna fold this all in. We've already put the tag in. This is just the finishing seam. Then we'll go in and do the Kato bag. Which, yay, is like half done because I pilfered a lining with like pockets that were already finished from another bag, along with the leather that I forgot I would need to cut otherwise. Oops. Ooh, that is a nice crisp seam. Huh. That's super interesting. I'll take it. Alrighty, so there is one big bag done. Get in there. Come on, lining, get in there. There we go. And then we're gonna pop this corner out. Nice and finished. Just reading descriptions of Notions pouches the other day. Mostly because I was checking out my competition at a different show. The other bag maker. And the way that the listing was written, it was like, I cannot tell if this was like a question that just got asked a lot, or if it's like a pet peeve that you're making sure everyone like knows you're not doing. It's very well done, but I was just like, okay. I could not tell. I'm not going to dox the creator though either, because that's not fair to them. I just got a bit of a chuckle out of it, because it feels like something that I would write occasionally when it's like I've just been had maybe been asked the question one too many times at a certain event or something like that. But I also don't typically get annoyed with that because I also spent 5 years working with tourists, and so you have to always approach it like the person doesn't know anything about anything that you're trying to sell them with your story. So one of the main questions we ended up getting constantly was from people driving from Calgary. I used to live in Radium Hot Springs. Our best known attraction is Radium Hot Springs. Yes, there is radon in the water, but it's like these really cool hot springs. They're developed, so they're not wild hot springs, but the pool is like set in this really cool rock wall, and oh no, it didn't get caught. We're gonna have to go back in, so there's a little bit of seam here that needs to be caught. That's fine. It's better to do this before the closing seam is done. Anyway, so it's like so these hot springs are set in these rocks. It's super natural. But if you're driving from Calgary, like 99.5% of the people driving from Calgary pass the hot springs coming into Radium. And so the one question you consistently get asked was, where are the hot springs? And it's like, go up to now it's a roundabout. Back then it was still a 4-way stop. So it's like, go up to the 4-way stop and take a right. Head back towards Calgary, and it'll be on your right-hand side, like 5 minutes up the road. And everyone would be like, what? It's that easy? And it's like, yep. Don't worry. The sign for the actual hot springs was like obscured by vegetation for most of the time that I worked there. So it wasn't surprising that we got that question either. Here's the thing. No point in getting annoyed about it when it's like you're just trying to make people's vacation better. The most annoying one, though, is please, if you are going anywhere for a long weekend, especially small towns, please pre-book your accommodation. Even if you call them up the morning of before you head out the door, book your accommodation. There was one August long weekend that I worked. We filled every single room and every single camping spot for 3 hours around us. I actually got a room for people in Revelstoke, which was about a 3.5 hour drive from Radium. And they're like, yep, thank you. And they headed out and like had to keep driving. They'd driven from Calgary that day, and they kept driving to Revelstoke that day. I was just like, holy, that's a roundabout trip. Because if you're driving it from Calgary, it's only about a 5 hour drive. But the dip down to Radium is like an extra hour at minimum, if not more. And then, of course, the stop to like get accommodation and everything. Thank goodness they did, though, because otherwise they would have been absolutely royally screwed when they got to Revelstoke and realized that there was no room up there. And these people in Revelstoke, they kept getting calls from us like, do you still have room? Now that is like worst case scenario. But please, if you're going to a small town, please pre-book your accommodation. Like I said, even last minute, call them up and find out if they have rooms. Because that's the thing. It's like sometimes you run out. All right, there we go. That should be better. Did we catch it? We caught it. Success. Okay, good. I'm glad I saw that before we close this up. I loved that job, though. I think if I were to ever go back and get retrained or get any more training or like, well, no, I know it, not if, or no, if I go and get more training or more schooling for anything, SAIT has a like tourism diploma, and that's what I would be doing. I would become like a travel agent or something like that. I think that would be high stress but really good job. It's the sort of thing I enjoy doing too. Now, I would much prefer if Nekozuki is a success, but you know, if I have to pivot, that's what I would pivot to. I also feel like it's one of those industries that's probably going to grow over the next decade or two as it becomes somewhat more accessible. Well, hopefully more accessible if inflation stops. And as like, yeah, things get, I don't know, I don't even know. I don't want to say back to normal. I don't think you can go fully back to what normal was pre-2020, so it's depressing of a thought of that as that is. Alrighty, here we go. But we're here for cute cat bags. Let's admire this other cute cat bag. Super cute. Alright, so there's those two done. Now we can go into the Kato, which means we need to swap the thread. But yeah, like seriously, this worked out. The bag that I pilfered the lining from also had the brown strap that I was going to use for it. Anyway, we've got the webbing and the D-rings. This is interesting. So I 100% singed these with the like lighter earlier, but the heat knife definitely gives it a much more defined finish. It's interesting. So I am actually going to melt these down just a touch more to make sure that they're sealed, because they seem like they might be a little bit like loose, like because of the cut, the weave is like looser. But that's something to keep in mind, I guess, as I cut them as well, is that the heat knife just gives a better finish overall, which makes sense. That's what it's designed to do, right? So, there. Cool it down so I don't burn myself because it is molten plastic. Did I just say I needed to swap the thread, even though that's literally what I had done to finish off those bags? I think it is. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, what time is it? 10. Okay. Let's see how much we can get down on this Kato bag in the next, like, few minutes. Okay, so this should be the right width. Yes. And then we're going to fold it down and down. So we're going to go in that much, I think. Is that right? Like, dead on what I wanted to fold in. Sweet. And then we're going to do it here. Then we're going to throw it underneath. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about like those drawstring bags and how I'm like finishing them like Kato bags. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm finishing the Kato drawstrings. And this is what gets carried through to the reversible drawstring bags. Because why not? Transferable skills, right? So... Oh. It's funny because you always like, now they're talking about like the skills on the resume. I have not updated my resume in so long. I don't even know if I would know how to actually write it at this point. Because it's not that just that I've been out of the workforce with kids. I've been out of the, I've been self-employed for quite a while. So it's like, what kind of transferables? I know, like, I've developed a lot of skills. Time management not being one of them. Although time management under, like, your own pressure and time management under someone else's clock is typically very different as well. Oh, that was a lovely, jumpy, frickin' bobbin thread. That's not gonna fly. Look at that. That's gross. It's all, like... warbly and nesty and disgusting. All right. Pull the bobbin. Why would you do this to me? Okay, we're going to tighten the bobbin case back up a little tick. I think this might all be in my head because I think I do actually need the little screwdriver for it. Although I think that did move a little bit. I'm gonna say it did. Gross. Okay, let's see if we can get this redone properly. Now we need the seam ripper again. Gross. It doesn't even feel good. It's like so warped. And of course this is like the exterior, so you're gonna see it. Not that I would leave that on the interior either, but ugh, gross. Gross. Yeah, it just doesn't even feel good. What the heck happened? Why you do this to me? If you don't know what I'm referring to, Cookie Monster has a buddy now called Gonger, and they run a food truck. And of course, Cookie Monster will eat one of the key ingredients typically, or Gonger will sometimes, but most of the time it's Cookie Monster, and so Gonger will be like, Cookie Monster, why you do this to me? I have mentioned this quite a bit in the last couple of days because there's been some mishaps. But just so you have some context of what I'm quoting. I'm quoting a Muppet. If you have a chance though, Cookie Monster and Gonger's food truck is hilarious and very much worth it, especially if you got little kids. But even if you don't, if you grew up with Sesame Street, it's worth a watch because it's just cute, and it's available on YouTube because Sesame Street is awesome that way. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm going to have to figure that out. I wonder actually if I sometimes if you change the stitch length it helps, so just up the stitch length by like 1/4 millimeter. Which doesn't sound like much, but sometimes that's all it does, is to like resolve issues. So we'll try it and see, because why not? I don't know why it's giving me grief now when it was perfectly fine when the bobbin thread was like, when the bobbin thread was this thread and the top thread was not. So I don't know what's up. I guess we'll find out. Because like, yeah, the sewing for the big bags, it was fine. Weird. Like finishing off that final seam. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll throw some of the foodie truck videos into the videos I talk about on the playlist. Videos I talk about on live. Cookie Monster's foodie truck. I will. Just you see. It'll be on there next time you look at the playlist. After this stream, obviously, because I can't do it right now. No, that is no better. What the? Okay, so maybe I do need to tighten this down. Okay, it's smoother up top, so let's try that, because it looks like what's happening is it's way too loose up top. Although that makes 0 sense then for the actual, like, none of this is making sense right now. I don't get it. Some days I do not get sewing machines. If this continues, we are going to just say ciao. And do you know what? Sometimes it's just better to come back to it in the daytime. The other thing I could do is I could actually do a leader. Which is basically like I'll take a piece of fabric from the pile and we will start with it. And it can work out any bird nesting that's happening or whatever's going on in the machine. Hi, Flynn. I know, I'm up late, honey. I'm sorry. I don't hear the kiddos, though. Everything's okay? Yeah. You're just attention deprived? Just. That is devastating. Apparently at school today, my eldest, like, they're getting ready to go down to the downstairs classroom. And they just threw themselves on the ground, basically. And they're like, did she, like, are they hurt or, like, what? And it was like, no, I miss Mama. Like, oh. Wild, because that isn't, like, they've told me that they miss me, like, when I've picked them up. But usually they're perfectly fine at school. So it's just like, okay. Like, aw. And also, aw. Poor kiddo. Alright, let's see if that helped tightening up the top tension. Yes, it looks like tightening up the top tension helped finally. Okay, fine, whatever. We're gonna start with this then. So this is called a leader. It means that when you like stitch across this, typically it's used in quilting so that like when you have those really fine points and stuff like that, they don't get like drugged down into the machine. But sometimes it's also just to work out these like rat's nests and bird's nests that you end up getting from the bobbin just being cranky. I have not had this cranky a bobbin in a really long time though, so I don't know, like I said, what's up exactly. I used to have cranky bobbins like this all the time on my domestic machine. And occasionally on this guy, but not like this. So hopefully these new settings are just what they are, and we will stop using the Gutermann thread and just fully switch, because I don't want to have to mess around with tension every time we sit down to sew. And I am extremely lucky that my machine is not extremely picky and I don't have to mess around with tension consistently, because typically you should be doing it every time, or I should be doing it every time I switch like fabric weight. But yeah, no, we don't. Dirty secrets. Or just maybe stuff no one actually wants to admit to. Some days. Alright. It should be open enough that I can run it through like this. Sweet. And I can run it through like this. And we should be good, mostly. That one did tear, so we're going to fold it in a little bit further so that the tear gets sewn down. There we go. Like that. And we'll get this side as well. Tiny little fold, because we've had more on the other side. That'll get sewn in. Good. Okay, well, better to find this out with like the shorter amount of top stitching instead of the large amount of top stitching as well. Is that better? That is much better. Excellent. Okay. Weird, weird, weird. I don't know. Like I said, sewing machines and fabric and all of this really just has a mind of its own. So now we're going to go in and we're going to do the basting stitch on this. So that means I am going to turn the stitch length up to max. I'm going to go. That did not catch all of the fat, or did not catch all the way across, but it did get a good portion of it. We'll just trim right there and restitch it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want to like lose it part of the way through sewing it into the bag. So, you know, it's better just to have it caught. All right, now I'll do it for this one here. Sweet. Okay, now let's just double check those. Okay, this one did come out quite a bit shorter because we had to do that bigger fold. So you know what I think we're going to do is we're actually going to trim it off and refold it. Yep. Actually, I think we'll trim off this end. Okay, so line it up here. Trim it off here. There we go. Fits fairly close. I don't worry about it too much, but that was close to like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch off, so that's not going to fly or look as nice either. So we're going to just remedy that by making it closer. Yeah, and that is way better. Sweet. Let's get this. Uh-oh. The youngest is either talking in their sleep or they are awake. I'll have to double check the camera here in a second. No, didn't get caught. I was just talking about how leaders solve that. Sounds like they're just talking to themselves in their sleep. All right. Which is good, because I think we might be able to get most of this done tonight, or if not, like done, at least mostly assembled tonight. Okay, so we need to install the, well, I just need to sew this. We need to sew this here. Shimmy these together like that. Make sure they're lined up top. Here. And here. And we're going to measure the webbing down from the top. Goes in at about here. Oh, right. That's why there's so many, like, 75% cottons in that boxes, because we needed to go in and just redo their deering tabs, because they weren't even, of all things. Concentration is high. Mostly just my brain getting tired. And being like, you need to do this still though. Okay. There we go. Go in. Yeah, we did it. Alright. Now we're gonna go around. And we're gonna sew the thing. And we're gonna even up okay, never mind. Are you even? You're even. Yeah, no, you're not. Bah. That is, no, you're good enough. Okay, good. Good, and we'll trim down anything excess that we need to do afterwards. Turn the corner. Corner. All right. Now we're going to just square this up right here, so that the wedge comes together a little bit nicer. Fairly straightforward, at least. There we go. And flip it. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit on this one as well. Okay. go down this side a little bit more because I can use a little bit more generous seam allowance on this side, and that's fine. And then we'll just blend it in at the canvas right here. Something smells dusty, warm. Can't tell. Could be the fabric. Who knows? All right. Actually, I think might be able to get this done. As long as the kiddos don't wake up, I will finish this tonight. And then it's just a shipping day tomorrow, which would be nice. All right. So we'll double check all these seams now that we can turn this right side out. It is flippin' adorable. Sloths are just such a good fabric anyway. And then sloths with like lemons on this like pink lemonade background are just chef's kiss. So good. Okay. That out of there. Anyway, so that's what it's going to look like more or less once it's finished. Super freaking adorable. We're going to clip in the leather, and then we're going to clip in the drawstring, and then we're going to basting stitch those two together, because doing the webbing at the basting stitch just proved how important that was tonight. Okay, so I do not have my handy dandy ruler that I normally use for this, so we're just going to have to do it the old school way with a smaller ruler, which is annoying, but it'll work. Okay, and then this is a 5-inch. So that needs to go there. This needs to go here. And then we're good. Okay. Whew. See you never, ruler. My goodness. All right. Gonna trim down those threads so they're out of the way. Then we're gonna clip the sloths on. All right, so one of these pieces does have a sloth on it, so we're gonna make sure that it goes to the exterior or on top, basically. And with this one, I'll put those lemons to the top. Putting the drawstring in is not an exact science for me. I'm sure if I did some math, I could get it very exacting. But we are measuring this with the heart. And then the other side will just be made to match it. Yeah, get new. What is happening? Why? Why you do this to me? I haven't even watched Foodie Shark for so long. I wonder if they've got new compilations out, actually. Because, like, it was a pre-shutdown thing. And then during shutdown, they did a bunch of like very obviously in their own home filming, which is both. It's not both. It is amazing to see, actually, because I can't imagine how they managed to adapt it that fast, especially in New York. That's where Sesame Street is filmed, right? I said that, and now I'm like, because they all hang outside of the brownstone, so I assume it's filmed in New York, or is it filmed in Chicago? Now that I said that, quick, is there someone that can Google where Sesame Street is filmed? I think it's New York, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely see that they had to adapt when they were filming at home. So there weren't new foodie truck ones for a while. So I hope there's new foodie trucks now. Okay, we're gonna baste this. No, I've never had a problem with this. We're just gonna go in, right? Would that actually make it easier to sew in the lining? Not, yeah, a little bit, because then I wouldn't have to juggle all 3 of these layers. Okay, we're gonna go in and sew this, and then we can just sew in the actual lining. So we're gonna flip this so that we're sewing it from the exterior. Go. We'll start here, and we will turn up the stitch length so it's quick and easy. And forward. The drawstring is unhappy about being sewn to the exterior from the interior, but it will have to deal. Actually, yeah, I've never had that much of a bubbling issue with a drawstring before. Alrighty. That's interesting. Yeah, here we go. All right, now we will go in Astoria. Okay. So, but New York. It makes sense because, like, we see them outside, like, Cooper's General Store, and then the brownstones beside the general store, right? So that does make it actually even more impressive because it's just, like, the pivot they would have had to do, and very rapidly, because as much as parents and children really depended on Sesame Street before, I can't imagine. Well, we didn't have kids really at the age where Sesame Street was super formative at that point. But, like, man, like, if Sesame Street had stopped, I can't imagine. All right, let's get this in. Thanks, Andrea. It's like someone's got to know the answer. Google will definitely know the answer if someone had free hands, obviously. Right now, they are super into, we haven't watched Foodie Truck or Sesame Street for a while. I think we should add Elmo back into the rotation here. But they're super into Octonauts on Netflix, and it's super cute because it's all these little, like, even like land animals, but they're all in like this submarine system underwater, doing like underwater explorations as Octonauts. It's super cool. Emily's Wonder Lab is also another big one that's super popular, which I think is really fun. What else? Mika and Blippi. There's just so many more options for kids television than there was when we were kids too. There's also just a lot more to watch than when we were kids, or a lot more access, I guess, to it. Easier access to it. And Gabby's Dollhouse. Gabby's Dollhouse is cute. Maybe not the most educational, but on the days when they've just been at school all day, it's like, yep, go ahead. Have that nice, like, down regulation time. and we hang out. So it's all good. All right, I need to turn the stitch length down. And we're going to go inside that basting stitch line, and we're also not going to start right on the leather because putting more holes in the leather is not good. Basically, the more holes you put in leather, the less strength it's going to have, because everything that you sew on leather is another hole in it, basically. All right. Around and around and around, and done. Okay, now we gotta trim down the leather before we turn it, because this little stick up of leather, actually there's no leather sticking up there. Okay, sweet, I'll take it. I think we caught all the layers. I hope we did. Looks like we did a pretty damn good job at most places, at least. As long as we caught the basting stitch, or inside the basting stitch, we should be good. It looks like we got inside the basting stitch or on the basting stitch all the way around. Cool. That looks like it could use an extra little TLC right there. Okay. Let's go back in here. Oh yeah, I definitely could. So let's actually start on the side seam. I see where it warbled. So we'll just ease another stitch around this edge right here. Because why not? Oh yeah, and then there's the step in to make sure everything matches up. So I realized I had wandered off the path a little bit too far. Okay, sweet. Now we're good. Now we get to turn it, and then we get to finish it. Then we get to put the logo on it, and then actually we're going to put the drawstring in it, and then we'll put the logo on it so that I can just let it sit instead of putting the logo on and then disturbing the adhesion of the glue to put drawstring in. That sounds like a dumb idea. Okay, what time is it? 10:30, almost on the dot. So I do think I am still going to call it quits here, because I bet you 6 dozen bottles of beer. Not really, this is not a contest, but my youngest will be up fairly early. They did pretty good today. I think they made 440, and they just climbed into bed and went back to sleep, so that's fine. But I'm not going to depend on that every day. So hopefully that's how tonight goes. It's been nice because they've been sleeping through in their own bed, which is yes. Because especially when Dallas is home, the eldest is totally a daddy person, and so they call for him in the middle of the night to come get them. And so if the youngest sleeps, the youngest is a mama person. So if the youngest stays asleep in their bed, I get to sleep through the night. And the few nights that I've been able to do that this week have been glorious. So, to the point where I was able to sleep so deep, I didn't even hear the eldest wake up and cry for daddy, which has been amazing. Although I definitely woke up one morning and I'm like, oh, the youngest is here. When did they get here? So a lot of the time they'll just come into the bedroom. I don't usually have to go get them, which is nice too. And that was funny though, because I don't remember them coming to the bed. At all. Okay. Sweet. Alright, this bag is nearly done. So let's add the drawstring in. Oh, no, we got to top stitch it. Haha, that might be a good one. We top stitch these ones because then you don't get this weird warble on the ends as much. And so basically it helps contain the interior lining on the interior. I do not iron this one because honestly ironing the curve would be very difficult. It can be done, but I don't do it. We're just going to go in and top stitch it. We will trim this couple of inconvenient thread ends, however. And this inconvenient thread end here as well. Clippy clip. Clip. Actually, I think we might singe that. We'll trim it and singe it. Nope, it got trimmed down far enough. That's good. Good. All right, let's... So I could do this from the front or like the exterior or the interior. I'm going to be a chaos goblin and do it from the interior. I've turned my stitch length up. Yes, I backstitch my top stitch. Not everyone does. Lots of people pull it through and tie it. But I have taken a lot of time to get to the point where I can backstitch my top stitch. So that's just what we do. And honestly, I keep forgetting that I could tie it. Blunt truth, Katie forgets things regularly. I forgot that my youngest has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Until I got the reminder today. I'm like, oh, right. And it's like a fairly important doctor's appointment, too. Well, not fairly important. It's a follow-up to stuff we've been monitoring. Their lymph nodes have remained swollen consistently. So I'm just doing like every 3 months they get a checkup, just make sure it hasn't progressed or changed, I guess. I don't know. I don't actually know exactly what they're looking for, like the doctor, but I'm assuming that it's like they're just checking to make sure that it hasn't progressed, so something worse. Oh, excellent. The bobbin thread decided to be a bird's nest with this one. Oh, goodness. There's like stitches where it's good for like an inch, and then the rest of the way around it's like blah, 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 blah. Interesting. Okay. And annoying. Very, 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 very annoying, because we were this close to being done. And I do want to go to bed. But I also want to get this done, so it's just like it's off my plate. Okay, so we're going to pick it out. If it doesn't work this time, then I will set it aside and we will finish it in the morning. It needs to be finished in the morning so I can ship it out tomorrow, along with the rest of them. But yeah, if it misbehaves again, then I will deal with it in the morning, because I just do not have the mental capacity to do this again tonight. We will not be doing notions pouches tonight. We are going to try and top stitch this and then put the drawstring in so that we're done. All these, and they're out of my mental space. But notions pouches will be sewn tomorrow for sure. Maybe what I'll do is in the afternoon the kids and I'll come down and I'll like match the zippers to them. I think that would be a good activity for me. Heck, that's something I could even do while they play outside, probably. I think it's actually supposed to be nice enough that we can go outside without, like, they'll still need snowsuits, but we won't need like 16 bajillion billion layers to go outside and be comfortable. Oh, that's a nice knot there. That's not what caused the issues. That was just a symptom of the issues, I guess. I'm sure this is absolutely riveting. You can't even see what I'm doing. Damn it. Okay. Let's actually get you, like, I guess, in on the action a little bit more. I don't know. Closer. We'll bend this down. Not like you can really see with the angle of that camera right now anyway, but basically I'm just going around and seam ripping. There is like a knot of bobbin thread here, so we're going to try and, oh no, that's a lost cause. There's no way I'm getting that picked out. So we're just going to trim it down as best we can, and then we'll top stitch over top of it. It does look better trimmed down than just leaving it loose. And basically what I do is I just kind of pick a stitch that I want to seam rip and then pull the thread from there so that I can just get, I don't have to pull or seam rip every single stitch. I can work in like chunks of stitches as long as I get the thread off my hand and like in the thread bin. But yeah, so now I can just kind of go along, pick these out. And this works with like seam ripping the bobbin thread. Not so much the top thread, just with how the mechanics of the actual sewing straight stitch works. But yeah, if I can pick it out this easy, this was not good. Why are you messing up with the bobbin so much now? It must be because it's a thicker thread, so I am going to have to like let off that, I think, the bobbin casing a bit. But that's, yeah, I can't tell because it's like, so it's the bobbin thread that's going wonky. We've tightened the upper thread because like a too loose upper thread could cause this. And most of the time it's upper thread tension, it's not lower thread tension that's causing issues anyway. I don't know. We'll try again here in a second. And maybe what I'll do is I will start with that leader because that seemed to smooth out the last round that we did. We'll reset the bobbin because that usually helps too. And like what I mean by that is we'll take it out of the case and like put it back into the case basically. There we go. And then we can just pull the interior thread. Except for right there, because that's where that really bad knot was. There we go. Okay, and then the next set, the other half, all done. Sweet. There we go. Alrighty, let's try this again. If it works, we'll do the drawstring and we'll do the logo label. If it does not work, I'm just saying goodnight. Oh, please work. It's always such a wasted, like, time. Oh, okay. Get the leader. Actually, we're going to get a canvas leader because then it's about this closer thickness than the other one. All right, let's see here. Excellent top thread tension. Excellent bottom thread tension. No warbly wibbling. Let's try this direction. Bird's nest because I skipped a stitch. So let's pivot with the needle down. No bird's nest. Pivot, needle down, needle down. We're fine. Okay. It's all good. There is no grossness underneath. So let's try and like actually top stitch this now. Zip out of here, leader. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, everything sounds good. Sometimes you can actually hear if like stuff is not sewing correctly. Is it looking good? It's looking fine. Okay, so this thread needs leaders. This thread needs a leader to work out that initial, oh yeah, because I didn't even reset the bobbin. But just to work out that initial potential for bird's nest. Also really doesn't like that right there, so hopefully that didn't cause any problems. No, it's still kind of, it was fine for like the first bit, and then it kind of went wonky again. What is going on? Okay, I'm not going to finish this because it'll make it easier to seam rip, and I will troubleshoot in the morning. But yeah, like, it's still weird. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to find the little screwdriver and get it to go. The only other thing is, I wonder if I were to reset it here. So what I mean by resetting the bobbin is pull it out, reset it, re-thread it, and pop it in. And the other thing we'll change is we'll sew it from exterior to interior. So let's just go the opposite direction. Let's see if that changes anything. Okay, so that's stopped where the old stitching was. See, like the top? Oh, the top stitching is absolutely glorious. And actually the bottom there is better as well. Like, that is a really nice top stitch line right here. It's nice and straight and even and all of that. The interior is better there as well. But like, this is what the bobbin thread is doing, is it's basically like doing these great big squiggles. And I do not know why. So, and it did do that a little bit on this side. Like, it's okay, but it's not good. And it looks like what's happened is maybe the upper thread tension needs to go back where it was. Yeah, it is happier now. I don't know why it was so hard to pull it through earlier. Like, it's supposed to be hard when the knee lift is down, but it was hard even when the knee lift was up. Yeah, because if the top thread is getting pulled down and through, that very likely means that the top thread is too loose. But the thing is that the leader was fine. So this leader, that's the top, perfectly fine. And it was fine except for this bird's nest. And this bird's nest happened because I skipped a stitch, basically, by moving here across like a chain piece. So I don't know what's up. Okay, let's actually throw this back underneath and see what it does. Now with the tighter tension, it's fine. 100% perfectly fine. Perfectly fine on the back too. Okay, what does it do on like the cotton? Because canvas may not be actually the best. Fine there too. Okay, so it's probably just top thread tension that needs to be done. But yeah, I will pick this out tomorrow when I have better light, better brain power. Not doing it on screen and failing again with like all of the blah. Ugh, this is annoying. This is why, folks, you stick with a thread band that you like. The problem was that Gutermann's gone up like 2 to 3 times the price that it was like 2 years ago. So I was like, okay, well, this stuff looks good. It's the same weight, apparently. It is not. And it's like all-purpose polyester. That's the big one. We want polyester thread. Yeah, but apparently it's coming with a learning curve as well. Oh well. Brain challenges are good, right? Intellectual stimulation. I just don't need it at 10:30 at night. My brain is done and dusted for the day. Okay, well, there's at least that experimental part picked out. And like I said, I'll do the rest tomorrow in better light with a fresh mind. And sometimes, honestly, just turning the machine off and coming back to it later solves everything. You don't even have to do anything most of the time. So that's what we're gonna hope for. But the bag is nearly done. If I really desperately need to, we can always switch back to the Gutermann for the top thread, and I think that will also solve everything else as well. But looking super cute overall. Get that top stitching in, and then we've got the nice dark brown leather cord to put in it down here. So we're going to put that like nice leather cord, the brown leather cord in it, and it's just going to look really nice. So we will finish that in the morning. Otherwise, we're done all the pick your own orders. So that is super exciting because now we can move on to all the other things for shows in April. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night. Thank you so much for joining me again, as always. And I will chat with you again tomorrow evening once the kiddos are in bed. Thanks so much. Bye. And good night.